So the KLR is a dual sport bike, which means it's good off-road and on-road. In this video I'm going to kind of demonstrate how the KLR is actually a surprisingly good freeway bike. So if you look closely there, you can see I'm doing indicated just under 75, which is probably closer to 72 or so. And on this day, I'm riding through the Columbia Gorge. I'm actually heading from Beaverton. There's Multnomah Falls. I'm actually heading from Beaverton, Oregon to Pasco, Washington. And of course, if you're in Oregon, you're going to pass some logging trucks. And I believe the total mileage for the day is going to be about 500 miles or just a couple miles short of that, and which is going to take me about 8 hours. And you can see it's raining there at the first part of the trip. The second half of the trip, it's actually going to be up about 100 degrees. So going through this tunnel here, years ago I came through here once when it was snowing, and I passed somebody as I was going through the tunnel, and then as I came out of this tunnel, it's about 4 inches of snow. I was on a Harley, and my bike just wanted to go straight, and I skidded right in front of the car that I just passed. I'm sure they thought I was crazy. Luckily, everything turned out okay. And as I got up here, I decided to take my first real rest. I'd stopped once to put the GoPro on the helmet there, but came up here, pulled over, got a little snack, went to the bathroom, got a little bit to drink, and then hopped back on the bike and continued out. And it's kind of hard to see in the video, but it was actually quite windy that day. I've read that the KLR is not too good in the wind, but it actually did fine. So here you see I just stood up. One of the really cool things about the KLR is when your butt gets sore, you just stand up and give it a little rest, and it really makes it a lot easier to put a lot of miles on the bike. So here we are going through, I believe this is the Dalles here. This is a little bit, about halfway maybe to Pasco from Beaverton. And as you notice in the scenery, we've moved from the forest to the desert here, quite a change. So there's one of the multiple dams that I passed along the way, and I thought it was interesting that the spillway was open because usually when you drive by them, you don't get to see all that water spraying up. And the water was actually spraying up quite a bit more than it appeared in the video. So you can see the KLR scoots right along. I mean, here I am passing a truck in the wind without any problems. In fact, speaking of wind, you can see there's a bunch of windmills up on the hill there, and there's actually windmills scattered all over once you get to this part of the gorge here. Those windmills are huge. You don't notice it until you get up close, but they're big. So here's another stop. This is at Arlington. Pulled over here. I almost always stop here. It's kind of a pleasant place to take a little break, and once again, got a drink of water, went to the bathroom, and had a little snack, and then back on my way. So here I am, Boardman. I pulled over here to get fuel. The KLR will go about 240, 260 something miles before it hits reserve. So I could have actually gone all the way, probably would have hit reserve right when I got there. It's a good thing I actually got fuel here though, because my mileage, due to the wind, my mileage was way down, and I would have hit reserve way before I got there. And if you look off to the right here, those are poplar trees growing out in the middle of the desert. Now, I forget, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, they started planting these, and that's actually the second harvest because they were actually a lot larger than this last time I went by, but kind of cool to see them out here. And if you look at those, the arrow there is pointing at a couple of smokestacks, and those smokestacks are where the Army is burning nerve gas, so you really hope they don't have an accident while you're driving by there. And off to the left, you can't really see it, but there's a whole bunch of mounds where they store the weapons with the nerve gas, and they've been disposing of them for years now. So this truck, I don't know, I followed him for quite a while before he pulled over. I don't know why he waited so long to pull over. So here I am crossing the Columbia, and years ago, before they built the road I'm on right now, and you had to go on the bridge on the left there, it could get really windy and dicey coming through there, but it's not so bad right now. And you can see there I am crossing into Washington from Oregon. So here I am. If you look off to the right there, you can see a dirt road, and of course when you're on a dual sport, every time you see a dirt road, you wish you were on it instead of the freeway. So, but you know, I was heading somewhere, and it's a dual sport bike, and here I am standing up again, giving my butt another rest and getting some cool air, because at this point it's 100 degrees outside, I believe. And if if you look off to the left there, you can see a building that looks like a barn. That's actually a church, and that's where I got my motorcycle endorsement back around 1981 or 82. I forget when it was. A long time ago. I doubt they give endorsements there anymore. But so we're going through Kennewick here, and this is the Blue Bridge. When I was a kid, it was called the New Bridge, and then when they built a new bridge, they changed the name of this one to the Blue Bridge so people wouldn't get confused and painted it blue. It was green before that. So anyhow, this is the exit to my folks, where my folks live. And when I was a kid, there was just desert out here. There weren't any roads. This is actually where we went off-road riding. So I would. This is where I learned that I hate riding in the sand. So anyway. So this light never did pick me up. Sat here for a number of cycles before a car came along and finally went through. I hate it when that happens. So here we are, turning into my folks' house. That's my uncle's motorhome there. I tried to run into this kid, but he was a little too fast. So anyway, pulled in here, had lunch, spent some time with them, and then turned around and headed back to Portland or Beaverton. And you can see it was quite windy on the way home. It was forecast to be winds up to like 40 miles an hour. I think it turned out to only be like 35 or so. But anyhow, this is would be my second stop on the way home. I pulled in here and got something to drink and had a little food bar. You can see the windmills up there. So there I am checking the GoPro in the mirror, make sure it's working. You can see directly ahead of me there is Mount Hood. We're heading west on I-84, and there you can see Mount Hood again. So this would be right about the Dalles. You can see the Dalles Dam there off to the right, and this is a little further down the road. At this point, it's starting to turn from desert to forest, and so I pulled over here. It finally started cooling off a little bit. It was a little over 100 degrees in Pasco, back in the east there, and it was probably still 80 or so here, but it was cool enough that I put my leather jacket on and kind of continue the ride as the sun was setting, and it was just gorgeous riding through here with the sunset. Yeah, it's hard to beat the beauty of Oregon, and it's just perfect dual sport riding country up here. So, the KLR did surprisingly well on this road. Here at this point, I've got about 7 hours. I ended up with just over 8 hours of total riding time. Here I am back in Portland. You can kind of see the Portland skyline there as the sun's setting. And, the bike does great, whether it's on the freeway mixed in with city traffic here, or, if you've seen some of the other videos, off-road riding. I mean, the KLR is just a really good all-around bike. So it looks like here I'm standing as I'm heading into Beaverton right as the sun's setting. And, it's just a really pleasant ride. I'm about 10 minutes from home here. Looking forward to seeing my wife after a really fun day of riding. So thanks for watching.